And
Jacob York is who?
Is Adopt York's son.
Okay.
Right. And it was organized by Jacob York, and it is our defense theory, and it still remains our defense theory, and we presented this theory at trial. But we were limited in our presentation of it, but nevertheless, that Jacob York, who had a grudge against his father, organized all of these members that were ousted. They went to South Beach. Now, the irony of that is you have alleged child molested victims that went to South Beach, a resort area, very expensive resort area, to have fun, basically, immediately prior to going to the FBI to report child molestation. And basically what happened right after the weekend trip, within a day or two, that's when the first allegations were made to the FBI.
Right.
Now, we were limited in bringing in evidence of details of the conspiracy, and we have one of the gentlemen here that could outline the details of the conspiracy, because at trial what would have been greatly helpful for the jury to weigh is all of the evidence that we had showing that this is a reliable theory, that this theory is true. Because by the court ruling against us, it seems as if we were just reaching at a defense theory. But we actually had hard evidence of this conspiracy through people that actually heard Jacob York state that he was going to get his father and he was going to bring down his father.
We have...
Right.
Who's that?
Damon Pryor. He's one of the individuals. But we had several individuals, not just him, but he was one of the individuals that was prevented from testifying at trial.
Can you speak to that now?
Yes, you can say that.
Yes.
How you doing?
Okay. Welcome to Insight.
I was one of the individuals who went inside the courtroom to testify on behalf of Dr. York.
Yes.
Involved in the conspiracy, whose the main actors was his son Jacob York, as our lawyer just spoke. How he, over the years, it's been known through certain members of our community, of our tribe, know of his vendetta, his personal vendetta against his father, for personal reasons. This has nothing to do with anything factual. It's just personal biasness, jealousies, envy, and greed, and his own personal pursuits.
Has this been going on for years, you say?
Going on for years, right?
Before he came down here?
Before he came down, people in New York were well known in most of the major cities in this country. And he has an influence in the music industry.
Okay.
And people in the music industry know Dr. York as being very influential, positive icon in the music industry.
Okay.
So his son following in his father's footsteps, attempting to follow in his father's footsteps, but he went another route, and which I don't know if you're familiar with Little Kim and Junior Mafia. He put out a lot of negative music, and he wanted his father to back that. Okay. And his father is not that type of man to back any pornographic rappers and violence for the younger generation. So because of that, and not having his father's back, and he jealousy and it stirred over the years. And with certain other members who were what you would call like outcasts because of their practices on our land and in our community, they were ousted. And because of that, it gave the motive for Jacob York to have vendettas against his father and come together with these people, like he said, on a South Beach trip. He gathered and financed this trip and talked to these young girls and promised them money, promised them jewelry, cars, because and to be on a federal payroll. That was the whole thing, to get them involved so they could have money later in the future or whatever. But it was for his own personal reasons.
Okay.
Right. So he was Dr. York's son. Because of that, they followed this guy and listened to him and took this trip. And that's where the whole plan and things started up with them coming up with these fake allegations of child molestation. None of these so-called alleged victims were children. None of them. These are all grown adults who have previous history.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's say that again. None of these alleged victims were children?
None of these alleged victims were children. All of them were adults who had backgrounds, known for their obscene sexual behavior, known for doing drugs and going to parties and being unruly when we as an organization, as a tribe, try to keep our culture in line and give a positive influence for our children, they were doing the opposite. So it was easier for Jacob York to contact these members who were already upset and mad because they couldn't, no longer participate because of their disobedience and going against the rules and regulations that we had set up. So he gathered them, and because of whatever his, I don't know what he promised them, his influence in the music industry, he would take them to parties and introduce them to certain stars, and that's how it all started up. But he's the axis of it, and that was prevented in the court. The judge did not want the jury to hear that because it would have just shut the case. But I mean, they would have had to let Dr. York walk out, because the motive would have been established, and that's the conspiracy there. I mean, he actually came to me. I know him personally. This is not something that's going on hearsay. This is something that, and I told him to get out of my face.
Yes. Jacob York.
Yes, I know him.
Okay.
I knew the plot and the things that he was trying to do, and I decided, because of the injustice that was being done to him, to testify and let the world know. That's why I'm here now. That's why we're here.
Okay. You want to add something to that?
I think Damon needs to, there's a couple points on the point, but I think Damon needs to state that Jacob York actually told him.
Yes. Right. This was he told, that's the thing, he told me face to face.
And this came up in the trial?
Well, it came up at a hearing outside the presence of the jury.
Okay.
So when Damon states that he testified before the judge outside the presence of the jury, so the judge can make a determination as to whether this evidence can come in.
Stop a second.
He actually screamed.
How did he get, I'm just asking the question,
right.
How did he get to testify to the judge outside the presence of the jury?
All right, it's a legal evidentiary issue because it was what they call hearsay. Anytime